Hello YouTube, this is Thomas Judge back once again, and today we're doing another installment in my ongoing series, Little Known Comics You Should Try. And with no further ado, today I want to look at this. This is not one single massive comic, in fact this is 9 trade paperbacks, and what we'll do, we'll talk through them one at a time. I'll give you a bit of an overview and tell you why I'm recommending them. Let's start off here. This is Volume 1. The comic itself is PS238. It's written by someone called Aaron Williams, and the title of this volume is With Liberty and Recess for All. This is Volume 1 and contains issues 0 through to issue 5. So what is PS238? PS238 is very much a family-friendly, child-friendly kind of comic. As it says on the back, welcome to the first public school for meta-prodigy children. Essentially, it's about a primary school, hence PS, primary school, number 238. There isn't another 237 of them, it's just, this is what it's called for various reasons. And in this primary school, all the kids have superpowers. This is an idea of the art, as you can see, pretty consistent, and sort of in keeping with the family-friendly theme. But essentially, it's about a primary school. The primary school is a school for meta-prodigy children, so it's all children with superpowers or with superpowered parents. The protagonist, for want of a better term, is a kid who has superpowered parents, but himself does not have superpowers and is actually very normal. As you can see, some of the kids here, we've got like a evil genius MODOK kind of analogy here. All the characters and all the kids are essentially, to some extent, satires or pastiches of existing superheroes, as are the teachers. So as you can see here, you've got kind of the main do-gooder kid, who's kind of a pastiche of Superman, like a kid Superman. You've got various other kids with their various other kind of aspects and quirks of their personalities. So there's one character here who's like a mini version of Hulk. As you can see, a mini version of MODOK. As you can see, like a little Morpheus from Sandman. Obviously, they're not direct analogies of those characters, otherwise there'd be copyright issues, but you can definitely see the kind of satirical, fertile ground that Aaron Williams is picking from for these stories. Hopefully, as I'm flicking through, I'm not going to give any spoilers or talk about the storylines or anything, but hopefully, as I'm flicking through, you get an idea of the kind of the art and, sort of by extension, to a large extent, the kind of tone we're talking about. So it can be kind of quirky, kind of funny, a little bit like Saturday cartoon humour, or comic strip humour in some ways. I really like the artwork. It's really in keeping with the kind of tone and feel of the story. I really like the characterization. So the characterization of the teachers, for example, who all have their own superpowers in various kind of less obvious kind of ways. And then, as well as that, I really like the characterization of the kids, and the kids who are essentially not even teenagers yet, which is nice, because otherwise, no doubt they'd come across as a bit obnoxious, but they're actually just small kids with superhero parents and superpowers, kind of enjoying having superpowers, and kind of enjoying all the various sort of aspects that would come with primary schools, and just primary school shenanigans, for want of a better term. There is a Batman analogue here who ends up taking our main character Aaron under his wing, and again he's really funny. Like the joke references to his version of his Batcave and his Batmobile and so on. It's really funny, really light-hearted stuff. Second volume here, To the Cafeteria for Justice. This collects issues 6 through to 10, and now you can kind of feel a bit of the dynamic coming together here. You've got your elastic person, you've got your like evil villain who's actually one of the good guys, you've got your protagonist who's unpowered and kind of the everyman protagonist. You've got your various characters. You've got an alien from another planet who's been adopted by the school. So hopefully you can start to get a feel of what these comics are like. Again, like I say, artwork is consistent, storyline is consistent. So why am I recommending it? Well, firstly, I'm recommending it because it's a great comic. I really enjoy it. Oh, you can see here like a bit of a Mephisto Spawn. Oh, this is... this one always tickled me. Right, so this kid is like a little baby Spawn. You see the massive cowl and the little skull and stuff. And these are his parents. One's an angel, one's a demon. And it's a couple of issues just about kind of like his childhood upbringing and just the tension of it. And it's hilarious. It's really good. Sorry, where was I? Yeah, so this is it's a fun, enjoyable, well-written comic. I really like it, and I have all 9 trade paperbacks. However, it's one that I'm conscious hardly anyone talks about. In fact, no one talks about it. So let's let's have a look and let's have a bit of a think as to sort of the provenance of this and what's going on with this. So PS238 started being released as an indie webcomic by the author on his website back in the early 2000s. Since then, he has released literally all of the comics on the website. So if you're interested in checking this out, the first thing I would recommend doing is checking out the website for PS238. I'll have a link to it in the description, and I'll pop up a little blurb for it here. And there we are, that's the website, and that's what I'd recommend that you go to check out. You can literally go on there and read the entire thing. All 9 volumes are on there, they're all completely free. I read quite a lot of them on there while I was at work. Like 10 years ago I was working in a call centre and I had basically nothing better to do, so I just sat there reading online comics. And I read a whole bunch of them, and then I was like, this is really good stuff. And what I want to do is very specifically own the physical version. So I got this. So that's volume 2. Here we've got volume 3, collects issues 10 to 15. This is back when I started getting little plastic jackets for my comics, which was quite cool. So this is taking a lot longer than I thought it was. I should just flick through a bit more readily. But yeah, all the comics are available on there, and the first 9 volumes, which is the first 50 issues, are available as trade paperback collections. Now, they're published by a company called Do Gooder Press, which you'll find on the website as well. And you can just go on Amazon and pick them up, or I think I got some of mine off eBay as well, because they were a bit hard to find. They are quite tricky to track down physically, because they were never big print runs, because this was never very popular. And I really don't get why it wasn't popular. This is volume 4 over here. This is called Not Another Learning Experience, and this is issues 16 through 21. And honestly, it's such a heartwarming, fun, interesting, well thought out comic. As well as PS238 being a school for superhero children, as you find out, as you might imagine, there's another school for supervillain children. And there's all the kind of antagonism between the teachers or the different faculty staff, between the kids, the various conspiracies. As you can see, the artwork is getting more complex and more advanced, and if not more mature, it's definitely becoming more professionalized. And it's a really good, well-written story. One thing I guess it reminds me of, if you've ever seen the movie Sky High by Disney, which I think came out in like 2005, 2006, if you've ever seen the movie Zoom, which are similar ideas, like schools full of children of superheroes and supervillains and kind of how they interact. It's a similar sort of thing, but done much, much better. And given those were mainstream Hollywood movies, it really does surprise me and kind of disappoint me that this wasn't more popular. Like I say, it's a good, fun read, and you don't have to take my word for it. You don't even have to buy any of it to start with. I would recommend please just go on the website and just read some of it. This is volume 5, issues 22 to 27. Again, I've got a little plastic sleeve on there, and this is called Extraterrestrial Credit. And again, great cover artwork as well. The comics are black and white. They become colour much later on. We'll talk about that in a second. But on the website, they're all black and white, and this is what you can read. But again, like I say, I'd highly recommend it. I'd highly recommend tracking them down. As you can see, there's much more text here, much more advanced kind of framing. If you compare this to the original framing for the first couple of issues, which was very square, very orthodox, we can see that Aaron Williams is becoming much more developed as a comic writer. Some of you may be thinking that you've heard the name Aaron Williams before. So he's actually the person that came up with something called the Nodwick Chronicles and a webcomic called Full Frontal Nerdity, which are both on his website as well. In fact, here's some stuff on them here. Let's have a look at volume 6, issues 28 through 33. Again, senseless acts of tourism and with a plastic cover. What was I going to say? Yeah, so he's actually more famous for stuff like Full Frontal Nerdity, and to be honest, that's I think where most of his effort and energy goes into now. If you go on his website, he does update Full Frontal Nerdity, and I think even the Nodwick Chronicles quite regularly. Unfortunately, PS238 has kind of fallen off a cliff. He does one update, like one page every couple of months, if that. So frankly, I think basically after volume 10, pretty much. This series is now at an end and at a hiatus, which is really frustrating for me because it clearly hasn't reached a natural close. It's not left on a cliffhanger in volume 9 that I have, but it's clearly, there's more stories to be told. This is someone from the evil school. Look at the evil black leather outfits and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, like I say, from my point of view, it's just a bit of a shame that he's not investing that much time and effort into it. I don't really know much about the author or what's going on with him in his personal life. It seems that his output has become a little bit, I suppose, erratic or inconsistent. And this is volume 7, Daughters, Sons and Shrink Ray Guns, issues 34 through 39. Sorry, I was just saying that R.N. Williams' output's a little bit erratic. I am not going to knock that at all. I'm the author of a series of books called No Gods or Kings. I released volume 1 in 2017, volume 2, volume 3 and volume 4 by 2019, and then I had a lot of mental health issues, a lot of financial issues, a lot of life issues, and I'm currently still working on volume 5. So I am not judging anyone for having an inconsistent output. It's that would be a bit too hypocritical. What I will say, however, is that as someone consuming his work, it's a little bit is this a bit of a disappointment, really. I'm really keen to see more of this sort of stuff. In addition, his website has all the issues up to volume 11. There he is. That's the little spawny guy again. And all these characters kind of grow and evolve, and they're consistently throughout the series. This is his name Aaron or Tyler? It might be Tyler. Anyway, this is his clone, which by this volume there's a clone. These are his parents. It's a whole thing. It's hilarious. Anyway, my point is, what I would say is this is really worth reading, and check it out from the website. And the first 9 volumes are available physically if you can track them down. Volume 10 and Volume 11 are on the website, and Volume 10 is completed, and Volume 11 is slowly kind of ticking over bit by bit, page by page. Yeah, I guess if anything, it'd be great to support this a bit more. Maybe the creator, maybe R.N. Williams, will start to produce content for this a bit more regularly, which would be amazing because it really is so much fun. This is volume 8, When Worlds Go Splat. That's issues 40 through to 45. As you can see here, we've got kind of our Green Lantern analogue. We've got someone here who is FISS, which basically means she's only given a number. She's number 84. As someone with flight, invulnerability, strength and speed, because it's such a standard power set. We've got this dude, and then we've got like Tyler, who's now kind of Batman's protege, like a mini Robin. It's really cool. Anyway, and this continues. I don't really have much to say that's not going to offer spoilers, other than just to put this on your radar. Artwork's great, storyline is fun, it's available for free. Check it out on the website, read a few issues, see what you think, try to support it. You can pick it up physically. And for me, for my money, this is one of my favourite comics. Tonally, keep in mind this is a kid's comic. And here's volume 9. Saving Alternate Omaha. For some reason it says volume 8 on the cover, but then volume 9 on the spine. Indie publishing, what can I say? And this is issues 45 through to 50. But what I would say is, yeah, whilst this is a very kid-friendly tone, I've obviously got quite broad taste. I've done previous videos talking about how there are some issues of Crossed. That's some of my favourite comics of all time. This is kind of the polar opposite of that. This is very child-friendly. This is very wholesome. But yeah, I mean, if you've got similar taste to me, you've got like a broad range of taste, or if you've got kids, this is definitely I'd say this is for kids kind of like age 9, 10, 11 sort of thing. Kind of that age group, I think. I don't have kids myself, so I don't know. But it's definitely not for young, small kids. And definitely by the time you're getting into your teens, they're probably going to be wanting something a little bit grittier and edgier and so on. But there's definitely a sweet spot where PS238 would be great as a family read to read to your kids. And, as you can see here, it becomes much more verbose. The artwork becomes more complex. The framing becomes more mature. And it's something that if you start off with volume 1 and work your way through, it's one of those things where, your kids' reading abilities will develop and improve in line with the comics. So the comics kind of grow older and more mature. So yeah, that's what I'd recommend. As you can see here, I mean, this is streets ahead of where we were at the start of volume 1, just in terms of the complexity of the art and also the narrative as well. Highly recommended. Check it out. It's free. I don't know what the creator's up to, but definitely worth supporting him because he still seems to be around, even if he's only putting out one page every 6 months. The first 9 issues, so 9 volumes are here. I'm gutted Volume 10 isn't available in the trade paperback. Aaron Williams, what are you up to, man? Get it together, it'd be awesome. And for anyone here who's watching this who enjoys these little known comics you should try videos, here we are. Here's one of my favourite series, PS238. Great, wholesome comic book fun. It's one of those things that you'll read, you'll find hilarious, you'll find great, and then the more you read about other comics, the more you understand more about comic tropes and like comic things from the 90s and other characters that you hadn't heard of. You come back, you read this again, and you'll realise the depth and the breadth of the satire here is even more than you thought. And there's more to get out of it every time you reread it. Loads of fun, highly recommended. Gutted is not an omnibus or a hardcover. And yeah, there we are, ladies, gentlemen, and others. Hope you enjoy this. Check out PS238. Let me know. Have you heard about it? Have you tried it? If you do go away and try it on the website, you read the first few pages, come back, comment, let me know what you think.
All right, thanks for watching, everybody. As always, please like, comment, subscribe. As always, please follow me on Twitter at I am Thomas Judge, where I will post a daily review of whatever comics I've been reading. You can get an idea of what I'm up to on the channel. And as always, please support the channel by heading over to Amazon.com and checking out my prose novel about superheroes. It's a completely original piece of work. The first episode in it is called Arrivals, and the series as a whole is called No Gods or Kings. You can find an excerpt of that on my website, nogodsorkings.com. Until next time, everybody, stay classy.